Ready, ready, ready. Bing bong. Bing bong.
Peep Show.
When I made my previous Peep Show vid, I didn't realise just how much hate Series 8 begate. I titled that video Peep Show Series 9 Feels Wrong, and that's because when assigning your favourite or least favourite series of Peep Show, a lot of it purely comes down to feeling, a certain overall tone or vibe a series has. Something I love about this show is each series does stand out in its own way. The character motivations or subplots or new characters all help define each one, and with a certain Dobster and a crew of boring normies mainly making up the bulk of definition for Series 8, I can definitely see where the hate is coming from. But I'm here to say, no, you're wrong. And you're fat and ugly and stupid. One of the big issues with Series 9 was I don't think they handled the scope in the plot lines very well. For example, the bank robbery, kidnapping Angus, tying up Jerry and waterboarding him, all funny moments, but I think the way they were handled was slightly too broad for a show like this. Something like the wedding or Sophie's baby being born were large in scope, but were given enough time to set them up and justify their significance. And what I like about Series 8 is it feels much more small scale. It doesn't feel like they're overcompensating with huge moments, but there's more than enough great moments throughout to keep things moving. I think beginning this season with Gerard's death as well allows for a slightly toned down season with there being no need to up the chaotic energy, which is where I feel season 9 went too far. Even if a bit morbid, I love what results from this decision. Watching Mark and Jess's reaction to it, I actually think helps humanise them a little more, and Johnson's funeral speech about how the weak must make way for the strong is some of the best writing of the season.
Evolution marches on. The scythe is remorseless. I hope the scythe's remorseless swing can bring some comfort to you all. Okay.
Also, I love the running plot threads in this series. Jeremy's life coaching, giving him a sense of extreme false ability to tell people how to live their lives, I think is great. Jeremy being in love with Dobby, I also think is a really interesting subplot too. It creates some nice tension throughout the series, but knowing how Jeremy is, there is enough doubt there to either believe he actually does or just thinks he does. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Dobby is probably one of the most polarising regulars on the show. I definitely preferred her character when she was just the oddball misfit in Series 5. I genuinely, and I'm not being sarcastic, I love the Jeff's doing a joke scene.
Jeff's doing a joke. Jeff's doing a joke. Everybody quiet because Jeff's doing a joke.
This scene is essentially jumping on a social embarrassment grenade for Mark. She gets called a freak. And then Mark's horrible personality doesn't even take the time to defend her or check if she's alright. It's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking scene. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I can see how people would think Dobby's overstayed her welcome and has completely changed character by Series 8, but I disagree. I don't think this series showed her becoming a normie, and by no means do I think her new group of friends are cool, normal people. They honestly all kind of feel like nerds who've grown up and become more comfortable in their skin, including Dobby. When we first meet Dobby, she clearly wants to be comfortable liking the things she likes, and I think this new group of slightly normal hipster tech nerds gives her the ability to do so. And this acceptance of who she is and Mark's inability to accept who he is, I think is the main thing driving them apart in this series. Not to mention the fact she blatantly explains how the death of Gerard could have skewed her perspective on living in the moment and wanting to do more out there things.
Just Gerard, it's made me think about stuff. You've got to live your life, Mark.
And yeah, you can see her constantly giving excuses for why she can't move in with Mark as inconsistent writing, but I don't think it's far-fetched at all. Her and Mark are slowly growing apart, and moving in is a big step. I think the constant excuses are honestly just her buying time until a decision is made for her. By the way, Simon and his friends are painfully unlikable.
Play ball till we drop and then smoke till we pop.
But to be fair, we only really see them through the perspective of Mark, and as the people Mark feels are changing Dobby for the worst, I think it's natural we also see them as vapid, two-dimensional, boring, judgmental, sanctimonious slug fucks. But to be fair to them, the scenes of Mark interacting with this group, trying desperately hard to fit in, are some of the funniest of the series.
Come on, you must know, it's so easy. Cool electro, improvise live.
I don't know, okay? I don't know, so fuck off!
Time's up.
No thanks, I'm full.
You're full?
I never stone alone, I'm just high on pie.
What?
Whilst an issue with Series 9 is the fact that Jez and Mark are pushing 40 and the shenanigans they're getting up to are getting sad and embarrassing, the reason why I don't feel the same about this series is both Mark and Jez, as much as they can, do seem like they're on a path to growing up. And this is a big theme across the entirety of Series 8. Mark's getting Dobby to move in, Jeremy finally finding a passion that isn't a wasted attempt at music, Superhands has a big adult job, Dobby with the promotion, even Mark's sister has had an extreme depressing grown-up lifestyle change compared to the last time we saw her. This sense that everyone's moving on and becoming adults whilst failing miserably to do so fits this era of the show miles better than getting entangled in thruples and affairs. And then just looking episode by episode, Jeremy Therapized is a great setup to the therapy storyline of the season, and it has the curry scene. Come on. Business Secrets of the Pharaohs is the perfect finale to the ongoing plot thread of Mark's book. Any episode where Mark is being unknowingly conned by someone is always in my top 10. Don't know why. Big Mad Andy has Stephanie. I mean, come on guys. You know what I'm saying. Chairman Mark is a solid episode despite probably being the weakest, and the Love Bunker is in top 10 episodes. Superhands slowly going mad in a bunker in the midst of a paintball war zone is that perfect mix of small scope disguised as large that I was talking about.
Get one of them in here. Take a knife to him.
You don't mean a real knife, you mean a paint knife.
That's a paintbrush, Mark.
As I said in my previous vid, the ending of Quantalking 2 is definitely where the series falls down for me, but I do love the build-up. I get how Jeremy is doing something absolutely awful to Mark in this episode, but I wouldn't say putting himself before Mark is entirely out of character for him, negating the rare occasions he's feeling especially selfless, but I think the writing does give this portrayal the weight it deserves. I love how it's not completely dropped in the next series. It's just the disappearing Dobby, the lackluster fighting and texting an entire I'm moving away breakup. The last 5 or 10 minutes seems to go at rapid speed and isn't really given the time needed to flow. The thing is, this season is heavily focused on Dobby and her friends, and if you don't enjoy watching them, I can see why this would be your least favourite series. For me though, I think this season not only has better introduced side characters than Series 9, like Stephanie, and the others, but it somehow also avoids the sad oldness Series 9 is plagued by, just by having the storylines closely line up to the two's ages. As I said before, each season of the show has a defined voice, and looking into whether you like a season as a whole, it's really about your gut reaction. I don't know, something about the tone of this series really does pull me towards it. I mean, nowhere near as much as 4, or 5, or 2, 3, obviously, 1's up there. I like 6. 7 has some great episodes. Look, it doesn't matter where it ranks. By no means is it my favourite series, but how Series 9 just felt wrong to me, Series 8 just feels right. But let me know if you disagree with me. That's all from me. Bye. Mwah.